Hey guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be putting us through on how to cut an A-shaped gown. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So the first thing we are going to do is that we'll measure our required length. But this fabric, I've already folded it into two. So my fabric is on fold. So whatever your length is what you are going to measure here. So for the purpose of this practical, the length that I'll be using is 41.5. So this 41.5 include my sewing allowance for the shoulder and the folding allowance for the down part as well. So after that, what I'm trying to do now is to get a straight line. So the 41.5, I'm going to measure it again. I'm going to measure it again so that I will have a straight line over there. So I'm joining the mark point together, which is 41.1, to have a straight line there. So after this, I will measure my armhole depth. So for this, I'm using 6.5 here, though it is for a kid. So I'm using 6.5. For an adult, you can use like 7, 8, depending on your bust measurement. This is 6.5. So that is the 6 point. So after that, I will measure my waistline. I'm using 11. I'm trying to get the straight line, so that as I'm measuring it over and over again. So I'm using 11. So I'm joining to have a straight line. After that, I'll measure the back measurement. So some people call it shoulder measurement. So I'm using 7. So I'll go down by ½ inch since it is for a kid. That is ½ inch, 0.5 inches. So if it's for an adult, for the shoulder slope, you can use 1 inch. So I'm trying to grab the neckline here. So I'm using 3 by 2.5. The wideness is 2.5, while the depth is 3 inches. So can we say this is 3 inches? Yes, this is 2.5 inches. That is the wideness. The depth is 3 inches, while the wideness is 2.5 inches. Then I will join it to the ½ inches I measured. That will give us a shoulder slope, the depth of our shoulder. After that, I'm going to measure the bust measurement plus sewing allowance. So this is 8. I'm using 1 inches for the sewing allowance. The person bust is 20 divided by 4, this is 7. So this is 3. I'm trying to draft my armhole depth there. So I'm going inward by ½ inches to get my armhole depth. So that is 6.5. The shoulder is 7, but so I went inward by 2. So that was why I had 6.5 there. If you like, you can make use of your curve to get this line. Just because I'm actually used to it, so I do it using free hand most time. So that is our armhole. So 8 inches, while the waist is 7.5. That is inclusive my sewing allowance. The person actual waist after divided by 4 is 6.5. So after this, the wideness, you determine whatever you want to use for the wideness. So for the wideness of this cloth, I'm using 12 inches. So you can make use of times 1.5 of the bust measurement or times 2 inches of the bust measurement. Then I join all marked point together. So the wideness of the down part of your A shape, you determine it yourself. If you want it so wide, you can make, so that is my my bust to waist, my chest to waist, then to my gown length. So I'm going to join it together. So for the wideness of the gown, It depends on how wide you want it to be. If you want it so wide, you can make use of times 2 of your bust measurement, or times 2.5, depending on how wide. But I prefer to go by either times 1.5 of my bust measurement or times 2 of my bust measurement. Then I'm trying to cut all marked points together. So I'm joining all marked points together. So yeah, I'm cutting all marked points together. Can we see that it's already looking like an A-shaped gown? So I'm done cutting. Yep. So that is the front. For the back, I'm going to, don't mind my fabric. And for this Adire print, you can actually check at Adire by Wisdom to get yours on Instagram. Adire by Wisdom on Instagram to get yours. So I'll fold my fabric into 2 to cut the back as well. So Adire by Wisdom, they have lots of beautiful fabric and they ship worldwide. So if you want to patronize them for any Adire print, you can check their page. They have variety of prints on their page. Yes, I'm just trying to fold to ensure that my folding is straight, like it's flat. It's not kind of squeeze one side. Everything is laid flat. To make it, can we see the fabric is unfold? This is 1 inches. I'm using 1 inches as my zip allowance. So at the folded edge, I'm going to measure 1 inches also. So this is serving as my zip allowance. You can determine, you can use half inches for your own zip allowance, 1.5 inches for your own zip allowance. Whatever suits you is what you can use for your zip allowance. But for the purpose of this work, of this practical, I'm using 1 inches as my so I've already placed my front. I'm done marking it. This is my front. So I'm placing it after the marked part, after the 1.1 inches marked part. So I'm putting it on it. Can you see that is my front? I'm putting it on the back. So for it to be easier for me to cut, I will use pin. I have lots of pin. So this is a ball pin. So I'll use it to hold the fabric down. Use it to hold the fabric down. Though you can, if you observe very well, I'm pinning it down after the 1.5 inches that I've marked. So I've already pinned it down. So I'll cut it out. So my front and back, the wideness is the same thing. The only difference is just the zip allowance. So I'm done cutting. So that is the front, this is the back. Front, back. You can see my zip allowance over there. Then I will pin all. So this is my back. I'll place my front aside. Then I'll cut it into 2 because of the zip allowance. So my back, I'm going to have 2 pieces for my back. 2 pieces. Yes, I'm going to have 2 pieces for my back. So can you see I'm having 2 pieces for my back. Then I'm done cutting the back